So I thought I'd quickly run through how I've been cleaning up some of the samples from the air piano. So if you played it originally, you might have noticed there were some clicks on some of the notes. So we just have a listen to these. So you can see the first one's got a click almost on the transient and the second one's somewhere after the transient. So if we just crack it open here, we can have a look which note is being played here, and you can see that the file that is playing here is the F sharp 3 close ribbon. So I'm going to give that one a try by opening it up in RX. So let's see if we can do a ribbon F, and it was a close ribbon F sharp. So if you've not used RX before, there's actually two views. This is probably the view you'd probably be most used to seeing in a DAW, because it would be the sort of the amplitude kind of view. But if you drag it over here, you actually get the frequencies, and this is what we're going to be working with, because this really gives us a way of seeing what's going on here. So you can immediately see some interesting spikes going on and some odd stuff going on towards the end of the file. So let's have a quick look at what's going on. I'm going to zoom this a bit more so that we can see. So you can actually see you've got the note and you've got its harmonics here, which is great, and then you've got this kind of funny messy stuff going on. Let's just play it. So it's pretty obvious this is the click, although there's some slightly odd stuff there. Now, one of the cool things that you can do with RX is you can just take a section of the file and keep playing it and over, so you can hear exactly if it is what you want to do. So if I draw this little circle around here, and there's two play buttons. There's the play button which will start you from the playhead, and this one which will just play what's been selected. So if we play that, you can hear some of the click and you can hear a bit of the note, right? So it's a bit of a mixture, actually. It's not entirely wrong, but it's a little bit wrong. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this a bit of a closer selection. I'm going to go quite tight in and draw around it, but you can see the click does go down a bit here, and I'm going to go like this. Now, there are a couple of ways in which to do this. I found at the beginning of the note, particularly for these kind of things, the best thing to do was to come over here and use a spectral repair. So this is what it's going to do, is it's going to take what information it sees before this issue and after it, and kind of use that to sort of blend over. So it's sort of interpolating and removing the stuff that it didn't see before. So you can see here that you can pick how much. So you can see there's this box here that's showing how much you want to pick, and you can sort of say how you want to weight it. So if you think there's more useful information after the section or before the section, you can kind of pick how you want that to go. I'm going to leave it kind of in the middle, and then you can kind of pick a strength as to how much it's going to work. I found this worked reasonably well between sort of 0.9 and 1. It really depended on what I was doing, and you can go in here and you can compare as well. You can see what's going on. I'm just going to go and render over the top of that, and you'll see, as if by magic, it's kind of gotten rid of that click, and we can play again, and the click is all gone from that section. And if I deselect this, go back to the beginning, our click is gone. Now there's a few more bits going on in this section here that we might want to clean up. It really depends, because some of this is going to be the natural character of the piano, and some of this is that click that we don't want. So that's one type of cleanup, was actually coming over here and using a proper spectral repair. The other thing that I found fairly quickly once we got into looking at these samples was there were some other naughty things going on. You can see here we've got some sort of spike, little click again, so there's that, and then you get these little blobs, something weird going on here. And then some sort of creaking and other noises, and some of this is creaking and stuff, and some of this unfortunately is headphone bleed. So let's just have a look at this bit here, what we've got in here. It's just a little bit of a click, not too bad. Now the bit that we find a little bit further out, in fact it's easier if you zoom out, you can see it quite a lot more clearly, these bits over here, and these are our friend the voiceover. Now, a little bit hard to hear actually, but what this was actually in the headphones Christian was listening to, you could hear the sound from the voiceover that's kind of helping through. So here as well, there's a little bit of that going on with the voiceover. Quite hard to hear. I actually had to sort of drag the volume up quite a lot on these ones. So on this kind of stuff, these little ones here, I actually found that you could just use this instant processing. So you stick on instant processing, pick attenuate, and then just kind of draw around the bit you want gone. And it still seems to retain the fundamentals. So it's kind of, it looks like it's doing a sort of a spectral repair. You can also kind of be fairly lasered. You can come in here and get rid of stuff that you don't want. So that's another kind of technique that I found. And then there's some breathing going on and some other stuff towards the end. Some of this I kind of cleaned up just by doing this instant repairing. And you can see it sort of slowly gets rid of it. But a slightly more effective, but seeing as we've now actually passed the end of the note now, and there's not really any note left, another thing you can do is come in here and pick the time selection tool, and that then allows you to just click and drag all the way along, and in this case drags to the end, and you can see it's sort of faded out. But again, you can see it's sort of doing a copy of what it saw before. So because that wasn't entirely clear in this section, you've still got a bit of muddiness here. And then same sort of thing on the beginning of the sample. You can see there's some sort of strange stuff going on. I don't quite know, and maybe Christian can kind of explain, might have been something in the setup. There's this weird noise at the very, very beginning of most of these samples that sounds, it's sort of a rising tone. And that loop is this frequency here. And again, what I was doing with this was coming in, and although you're going to start the sample here, I just wanted to clean up this section. Maybe that's a bit of OCD, clean it up. But you'll see it sort of kind of gets rid of it. So then you can get the old lasso in and really tell it to get lost. And that does a pretty good job if you sort of do it enough times. What you have to be a little bit careful of with this instant attenuate is that if you get it a bit too close to something you care about, it actually starts eating away at the sample. So if I go quite close here and use this instant attenuate here, you'll see that it's actually affected the character of the beginning of the sample, which we don't want, right? So in this case, I don't really want to do that, which is why when I did this, I kind of kept away from that beginning, and I'm sure there's some science behind exactly how that works. So that was really kind of the process that I went through to clean all the samples up.